It's good to have you again, Mr. Farotimi.
Always a pleasure to be with you.
The battle for the determination of the winner of the February 25th presidential election has started with the legal fireworks at the presidential tribunal, while Nigerians wait with bated breath. The question is, for now, is what's your assessment of the presidential election tribunal so far? Has it lived up to expectation? And is the arc of moral the universe bending towards justice?
Nigeria is a funny country. We had an election, but we're in court, waiting for the court to tell us the winner. Nigeria is a funny country. And then we talk about the arc of justice bending. Look, Nigeria leaves me flummoxed a lot of times. Flummoxed in the sense that we are forced to discuss, analyze, and debate madness in the place of you can't even, it's becoming almost impossible to contemplate Nigeria rationally, because even the question you have asked, to begin to unpack all the bits and pieces of it, demands the abdication of the use of one's senses before one might even begin to grapple with the issues. We trooped out in our numbers the 25th of February. Across the length and breadth of Nigeria, I supported Peter Gregory Obi. Other people had their preferences, and that's fine. That is the beauty of what is called democracy. But INEC and everybody constitutionally, quote and unquote, charged with the duties of ensuring a peaceful, free, and fair election, did everything to ensure that nothing of the sort happened. But that's INEC. We've debated INEC enough. And the question you asked, more or less, is about the judiciary now. Now, my views on the Nigerian judiciary are in the public space. It doesn't need any repetition. I have no confidence in our judiciary. That is not, it's not a statement born of extremes. It's a statement based on the objective realities on the ground. We're told that the judiciary is the last hope of the common man. But that presumes an independent judiciary. It also presumes the rule of law. It also presumes the presence of citizens who are all equal before the law. None of these are the case in Nigeria. The Nigerian Supreme Court has proven itself repeatedly to be the chambers of absurdities. We saw the Machina decision. We witnessed the Akpabio insanity, the hopelessness of Uzodinma in Imo State. These are but mere examples of the madness that has come to permeate our judiciary. Defines its very essence. You can't even ask a year one law student to make you can't excuse those errors from a new wig. How much more, men? Those are not errors. So let me just put it this way. The tribunal has the opportunity to redefine exactly the meaning of justice in Nigeria. He has the opportunity. I'm not saying that it must declare one person or the other, but it must do justice. To do justice is to look at the laws for all they are what? Dispassionately. Look at the rules that INEC itself made, the guidelines it set, and then determine whether whether the man known as Bola Ahmed Tinubu indeed satisfied the conditions set out as being necessary to be elected the president of Nigeria. I'm not holding my breath, but I am saying categorically that it is up to these men and women. I don't know who they are. I've not bothered to check the composition of the court, and I'm being careful not to tie everybody with the same brush. It is up to them to decide how they will be remembered by history. That's not for Nigeria-Farotimi. They have a choice. They are the ones who will be sat or who are sat on the panel. They have names. Their names will be remembered either for good or for bad. I doubt any one of them is less than 50 years old. I'm 55. You won't live forever. So if they elect to have their consciences purchased, and we've seen enough in the public space to suggest that such subterranean moves are already being made. There is the leaked audio of Gandola and Masari clearly explaining the rationale for Kwankwanso's inclusion in Tinubu's cabinet. They are hoping to compromise the judiciary. So these are all things that are entirely up to them. Yorubas will say, Tori omo ba down, lo se n loruko. It is so that you might be given the opportunity to decide who you are, that you are given a name. When you decide to commit a crime, it will be in your name. If you do good, it will be in your name. So it's entirely up to them. We quote Lord Dennings all the time in Nigerian law schools. And we quote him in the court. We quote Kayode Esho, we quote Okuta. We will remember their names, either for infamy or for finding the courage to save Nigeria. Is entirely up to them. As for confidence in them, I have none. It is up to them to prove whether they are deserving of trust and confidence. The Nigerian judiciary as a whole is no different from the whole of Nigeria, including myself. I'm not removing myself, but there is nothing about us that suggests that we have covered ourselves in glory and choose the right way. Well, it's up to them. They are individuals. They have names. History will remember them for whatever they do.
I remember in a recent interview we had with you some couple of weeks back, so reiterated the fact that this presidential tribunal will afford the Nigerian masses to see the denuding or the nuding of the Nigerian, elite, so to speak, who have hijacked the entire process itself. Do you still see that happening even with this, and does that...
It's already happening. You're not paying attention. See, the Apapa circus, the Arabambi orchestra, all those are part and parcel of the unnuding. It's just not immediately evident. Why would a man who should be preparing for posterity elect to mortgage himself to the chariots that Papa has lent himself to? How? So those are part of the circus. So you're already seeing all kinds of persons emerging from the woodworks. You're already seeing all kinds of strange things happening. But that is only because instead of taking to the streets in the immediate aftermath of the electoral heist, the candidate of the Labour Party was specific in making clear to his followers, no violence, no violent demonstrations were going to cut. So the moment he served notice about going to court, those who had never been interested in the truth coming out went into overdrive to decide how to distract the people. Remember, I said to you that it will afford us an opportunity to benude the Nigerian state, the corrupt INEC chairman, and it would also force the judiciary into having to do the right thing, because there is overwhelming evidence of the electoral rape and brigandage that took place both on the 25th and in the subsequent election of, I believe that was March 18th. So it's not like we have a scarcity of evidence to prove our allegations that Yakubu stole an election on behalf of a man who is essentially a career criminal. So we've said this repeatedly, and we are confident when we said that we will prove this before the tribunal. Now, in order for that to be minimized, they started all kinds of games. And all you have to do is to take a step back and begin to look. First, they had the madman on the plane who was claiming to be obedient. Distraction. Then they started with, oh, they want to create problems. One went all the way, Liar Mohammed went all the way to New York, to Washington, to go and be laying allegations of treason. All kinds of things were done to distract the people from focusing on the tribunal. Then you had the attempted factionalization of the Labour Party. I'm not a member of the Labour Party, and I've said so severally during, before, and after the election. But you could see very clearly that in their own reductio ad absurdum, they had come to assume that the totality of the mandate that was given on the 25th could be dissipated if you destroy the platform, which is the Labour Party, in their own thinking. What they fail to understand is that 9 out of every 10 persons who voted Peter Obi is not a member of the Labour Party. So they were attacking the Labour Party. That was because they were afraid of what the tribunal would do. Arabambi, Orchestra, Baba Pampa, and his own circus show. So you have all of that. But now, the substance of the case itself will be opened up. I will be shocked if the courts allow cameras in there. I'll be shocked, because it would not, in fact, I'll be shocked, frankly speaking, but let's wait and see what happens. But I know that as a fact, there are more than sufficient evidence to force the judiciary into deciding whether it is indeed the last hope of the common man and woman who voted on the 25th and indeed on the 18th of March, or whether it has become irredeemably complicit in the reign of impunity in Nigeria in the place of the rule of law. It is up to the Nigerian courts.
Now, let me ask your view on the recent statement credited to the United States Secretary of State.
Blinken?
Anthony Blinken.
Oh.
He had announced a visa ban on individuals who undermine Nigeria's democratic process during the 2023 election cycle. Meanwhile, we've also had a phone call being put through to the president-elect. You took a swipe during one of your recent speeches in the United States of the complicity of the U.S. Itself. What's with all these contradictions?
Look, since my student days, when I hear Nigerians hoping that the US or Britain would reprimand our ruiners and get them to do the right thing and force them on the path of rectitude, I'd always laughed myself silly, because it shows a disconnect, a delusional disconnect, when Nigerians expect that either America or Britain or even China or anyone but us would save us. It's delusional in the extreme. Anthony Blinken works for the United States. He is their Secretary of State, another name for foreign minister. He represents the interest of the United States. The interest of the United States and the interest of Nigeria, or at least the people of Nigeria, are not the same. They are not the same. The wealth of the West is predicated on an assumption of African slavery or at best subservience. How is it that a continent as rich as ours is a basket case of poverty? It's not by accident, it's by design. So if Anthony Blinken in one breath announces a ban, nobody knows who's on the list. We just hear there is a ban. And then in another breath, he's busy congratulating our career criminal on whom they are, whose file with them, God knows how thick. Let me be clear, I'll remind you of something that I think it was Kissinger. Kissinger said, Anthony Noriega is a bloody dictator, but he is our bloody dictator. It is up to Nigerians to determine what is in their own enlightened selfish interest. For them to continue to wait for America to tell them what is in their enlightened selfish interest or to fight our battles for us will be most stupid in the extreme. Nigerian ruiners steal money here. They take it to America. They take it to Britain. They take it all over the world. They purchase passports. They are welcomed. Their monies sit comfortably in foreign banks. Me, on this my last trip to America, I even tried to open an account so that I won't be spending cash up and down the place like a madman. Know what they told me? They can't open an account for me. I'm a Nigerian. Bola Tinubu has accounts there. He could even afford to lose $460,000 to them 30 years ago. 30 years ago. 460,000 naira 30 years ago. But America has no problem with that. Every Nigerian ruiner has a home in Britain. They have no problem with that. Let me just say this because it's not worthy of time. Fact of the matter is that we have to get to the point where we understand that it is Nigerians that will save Nigeria. And if Nigeria will progress, it is Nigerians that would have to progress Nigerians. If we must have strategic engagement with other members of the human community, it must be on terms that are beneficial to Nigerians. America that wouldn't even lend us arms to fight Boko Haram, vast parts of, look, to continue looking to the West or the East or anyone else for that matter, is stupid in the extreme. And that's why we are in the mess we are in. We should look to ourselves. Forget America. They are not our friends. They are not our enemies either. It's their own strategic interests that they are after, not ours.